The Suncoast Campaign for Grade Level Reading presents This Book is Cool. With your host, Beth Duda. Coming up, Miss Beth will have a special arts activity, words to put in your word bank, and a special interview with a person who thinks the book you are reading is cool.
Hello, my friends, and welcome to This Book is Cool. My name is Beth Duda, and I'm the director of the Suncoast Campaign for Grade Level Reading. We have a terrific book with us today. It's called Food in the Flowers, and it was written by Polly Cheney. We have a special guest with us today to talk about why this book is cool. With us today, we have Heather Ferjuste from All Faiths Foodbank. Hi, Heather.
Hi, Beth.
It's great to have you with us today. Thank you so much for agreeing.
Of course, thanks for having me.
This book title is, Food for the Food in the Flowers, and a lot of your job has to do with foods. Can you tell me a little bit about your job and what you do?
Yeah, so All Faiths Foodbank, we just help families who might be struggling to put food on their table. We are that bridge. So this book is really relevant because without the bees in this book, we wouldn't have food to feed our families either.
Why do you think the book is cool?
So I really liked how the book was rhyming because it makes the pollination process really simple to remember.
One of the rhymes that I really liked is, flowers have nectar that bees love, it's sweet. Flowers also have pollen that young bees can eat. So we've got sweet and eat as being our rhyming words. It's fun to be able to remember and also fun to chant, to say out loud, or even to read the book out loud to somebody. I think the rhyming makes it really fun. And you mentioned the bees. I had no idea there were so many kinds.
Yes. The diversity of the bees was very impressive. The leafcutter bee, the carper bee, the blue orchid bee, and even more cool is the different places they rest, like hives or the mouse's nest. That was new.
When I was a child, I was afraid of bees. But this book has helped me realize that that they are not monsters or something to fear. Yeah. I try to think of them as helpers instead of those scary stinging bees. This book also had music in it.
Yes, some bees sleep in flowers. If I was a better singer, I'd sing it for you, but...
But if you do have, any of our readers who maybe play an instrument or play the piano, there's sheet music in the book, and they could absolutely learn the song.
Some bees sleep in flowers, some bees sleep in hives, other bees rest in their nests.
The other part that I thought was really helpful was kind of like a dictionary in the book.
Yes, the glossary in the back of the book really helped with some of those longer term words. So they gave a really great job of making some descriptive details.
It was really terrific. Now, Heather, have you always been interested in books and reading?
I always have been. I was the kid in the back of the room with the book in the hand while everybody else was playing. So books are for sure on the top of my list.
Well, mine too, so we share that in common. I want to thank you for being with us today. It was so great to hear your perspective on the books, and thank you for everything you're doing to help make sure all of the families in our region have food on their tables.
Thank you for having me.
It was wonderful to have Heather as our guest today. Another thing that's quite wonderful is the words that we're going to put into our word bank. Our first word is the word pollinators. Pollinators. They move or carry pollen to a plant, and that causes the seeds to be fertilized. It allows our food to grow. Our next word is stems. Stems. The stem is the main part of a plant that grows up from the ground. Our next word is the word nectar. Nectar. Nectar is the sweet liquid that a plant makes that attracts birds and bees and other insects. Nectar. The next word for our word bank is the word pollen. Pollen. It's a fine yellow powder that's made by a flowering plant. Sometimes, certain periods in the year, you might actually be able to see pollen as it falls from the trees and maybe gets on top of your car, or sometimes on a pool deck or a sidewalk, you can actually see the pollen. Another word for our word bank is the word hives. Hives. And that means something built for or by bees that they can live in. So you might have guessed that our activity today is going to have something to do with bees. And this is something that you can have a lot of fun with at home. We are actually going to make our own bee. And you can see that it's connected. This is a balloon that we've decorated to look like a bee. And we've attached it to a straw, or you could attach it with tape to a pencil. But by doing that, you can actually have it fly around and look like a bee. And it's quite easy to make. All you need is a yellow balloon, and you'd have to blow the balloon up. So I think that's a nice size for a bee. And I'm going to tie the balloon. Now this part of it can be a little tricky sometimes for people, so you might want to ask an adult to help you tie your balloon. But once I have it tied, I can decorate it. Now, I'm going to take this marker, and I want my bee to have eyes, so I'm going to draw a couple of eyes. And then to really make it look like a bee, I want it to have those stripes that bees have. So I'm going to give it a stripe all the way around, and maybe another stripe. And how about one more? So I've got stripes. Oh, very fun. And then I'll make sure I put the cap back on my marker because I don't want it to dry out. Ooh, I think my bee needs a mouth, don't you think? So I'm going to make my bee a little bit surprised, I think. Does that look like a surprised bee? Maybe it's surprised by all the beautiful flowers. And then what I can do is I can put this attached to the straw. And then I can fly around. I could have two bees flying side by side. I hope you'll take the time to make your very own bee and to share it. I wonder what kind of a face you'll put on your bee. Well, if you do make a bee, send us a picture of it. You can send it to connect@grade-level-reading-suncoast.net. It was great fun to talk to Heather today about food in the flowers and to hear a little bit about how she helps food come to our community. I hope you're going to take some time to read. Remember, reading is the key to succeeding. And I look forward to seeing you again very soon, my friends. Until then, bye-bye.
Some bees sleep